Hello, and welcome to our presentation of our strategic review of the Crocs Corporation. Crocs is an American company manufacturing unique foam clogs since its founding in 2002 in Broomfield, Colorado. They have been publicly traded since 2006, which provides an abundance of historical data available for analysis. Our team chose Crocs due to recent degradation in their financial performance, which resulted in closing more than 150 stores in 2018. Crocs allows us to focus on one single market because they have such targeted products and it does not stray far from their core business offering of shoes. Crocs sells their clog shoe made of soft foam material, popular for funky style, ergonomic benefits of material, and Jibbitz charms. In 2018, Crocs closed their manufacturing facilities and now outsources to third-party manufacturers. Crocs is currently running a 5-year Come As You Are marketing campaign to inspire consumers to showcase their personal identity through comfort and style. The campaign recruited celebrities of different cultural and ethnic backgrounds to showcase individuals from varying walks of life. Major celebrities include Drew Barrymore and Justin Bieber. Crocs remains competitive with its Croslite material, which is a proprietary closed-cell material that's neither plastic nor rubber. To stay competitive against Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, and Skechers, they must continue to innovate their products, even in the slightest. Crocs continues to expand their products by ever slightly changing the iconic clog design. Partnered with many well-known companies to create their clog design and break into new markets. Through partnerships, Crocs has been able to creatively expand the use of their Croslite material and differentiates themselves from competitors with their unique experience for customers. Crocs distribution channels include wholesalers who are both domestic and international. Both the retail and e-commerce channels are company operated and sources its inventory solely through third-party manufacturers. They primarily store their finished goods inventory in company operated warehouses in the US and the Netherlands. It also uses third-party distribution centers in Japan, China, Australia, Korea, Singapore, India, Russia, and Brazil. Their distribution network, environmental ethics, and a leader in cost, innovation, and product diversity are part of the Crocs business strategy. We'll now discuss the external environment and the different factors that affect Crocs. Crocs' external environment can be broken down into economics, sociocultural, technological, environmental, legal, and political. Crocs' economic environment is faring well when compared to its competitors. The pandemic has brought an increase in demand, and the firm has been able to pivot and introduce robotics to increase their efficiency. Socioculturally, Crocs performs less favorably than its competitors. However, society perceives that its CEO is more popular. Crocs' technological landscape is fully innovated. Crocs introduced Aptos, which allows for more immersive marketing. Regarding the environment, Crocs is heavily invested in sustainability and continues to make strides in their production. However, their Croslite material is not environmentally friendly. Politically and legally, Crocs had to file many lawsuits against its competitors for intellectual property and patent infractions. Lastly, because Crocs is a multinational company, it's continuously affected by many countries' rules and policies. We'll now transition to a discussion of the industry that Crocs operates in. Crocs competes in the footwear and accessories industry. This industry is highly competitive and consists of companies which offer products that range from athletic and casual to high-fashion footwear and accessories for men, women, and children. These companies sell their products through branded stores and online and utilize retail stores, merchandisers, and independent retailers. Regarding bargaining power of buyers, there is a wide range of options for customers that are looking for a comfortable shoe, giving more power to buyers. One of the ways Crocs has been able to balance this power struggle is by creating its own proprietary Croslite material and collaborating with high-end brands, allowing for further differentiation and better brand recognition and higher sales of their regular clogs. Regarding the bargaining power of suppliers, Crocs has numerous options for suppliers of raw materials, leading to lower bargaining power of those suppliers. Crocs prides themselves on product quality and is moving towards utilizing more sustainable ingredients, so while switching costs are low, this increases suppliers' position against Crocs. Lastly, Crocs has multiple suppliers within its supply chain in various geographic regions, allowing them to be more efficient and thus reducing the supplier's bargaining power further. For the threat of new entrants, lowering prices of competitors has pressured Crocs into developing new products. For Crocs to remain established among the top competitors, they must build and invest in their research teams and provide new value to customers with an innovative product. Regarding the threat of substitute products, Crocs relies heavily on trademarks and patents on the materials that they use in their footwear to prevent substitutes. Merrell and Native both produce similar substitutes. While similarly priced, Crocs provides better quality, shoes, and customizability with Jibbitz charms. This makes it less likely that consumers will switch to those substitutes. Crocs competitors include other large-name lifestyle brands such as Nike and Converse, which rely on their customers to have a cult-like following, making customers feel like they are a part of an exclusive group. Other competitors include Airwalk, Dogs, and other generic brands that manufacture a similar design. Crocs protects themselves from these competitors by filing for patents. There are two barriers to Crocs' profit potential. First is generic brands copying Crocs to take their more price-sensitive customers away. However, Crocs has added customization to make this more difficult. The second is that Crocs has an international supply chain. This can be addressed by developing a dedicated relationship with their suppliers and obtaining multiple international suppliers should one supply chain be interrupted. Now that we've discussed the industry that Crocs operates in, we'll move into discussing their exact competitors. Crocs, Nike, and Doc Martens, as well as Skechers, are part of the footwear and accessories industry and share the same geographic market focus, including the US, Europe, the Middle East, China, and Asia Pacific. However, each of the four companies differ in their targeted market segments. Crocs' primary target market are individuals who prioritize comfort over style and value products that are long-lasting. Nike targets consumers who have an affinity towards style, fitness, and athletics. Skechers seeks to appeal to individuals who value comfort, style, and affordability, those who enjoy athleisure athletic wear intended to be worn during non-athletic activities. Doc Martens' primary target individuals are those who value comfort, style, individuality, and uniqueness, those who see themselves outside of the generic mainstream fashion culture. Over the past 3 years, Crocs has enjoyed a continual increase in revenue, even at the peak of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Crocs reports that it focused on digital sales beginning in mid-2019, including revitalizing its website and increasing marketing, which attributed to its increase in revenue. Digital sales made up 41.5% of revenue in 2020 for Crocs, an increase of 10% from 2019. Nike saw an increase in revenue of almost $3 billion from 2018 to 2019, and then a decline of over $2 billion from 2019 to 2020. Whereas Crocs focused on e-commerce shortly after the global shutdown due to the pandemic, Nike did not. It wasn't until June 2020 that Nike announced their primary focus for late 2020 and into 21 would be Nike Digital, which they call the marketplace of the future. Skechers enjoyed an increase in gross revenue between 2018 and 19 of over $622 million. However, between 19 and 20, it saw a decline of over $577 million. Skechers, like Nike, did not indicate a focus on building its e-commerce until mid-2020, when it launched a rebuilt website and app, making them both more user-friendly and introducing curbside pickup for online orders. Doc Martens' revenue increased over £105 million between 2018 and 2019. Between 2019 and 2020, it saw another increase of over £217 million. Like Crocs, Doc Martens determined the importance of focusing on and building e-commerce early during the COVID-19 pandemic, including restructuring their website and app and increasing marketing for both. Doc Martens' CFO, John Mortimer, attributes this quick adaptability to its 73% increase in e-commerce revenue and its overall increase in gross revenue. Crocs stock price is currently $131.29. Nike's is $166.36. Skechers stock price is $54.22, and Doc Marten's stock price is $6.63. Over the past 3 years, as seen in the graph above, Crocs, Nike, and Skechers had an upward trend, took a dip in 2020, and then shot back up. Crocs had a steeper increase than both Nike and Skechers, going from $35.94 a share in 2020 to $131.29 in 2021. Doc Marten's stock price is currently $6.63, and unfortunately, 3 years worth of data was not available as they became a publicly traded company just at the beginning of 2021. After completing our overall analysis, we identified a few key problems limiting the growth and success of Crocs. The key problem that we identified is that Crocs' price point is simply too high. Their most popular shoe, the classic clog, ranges in price between $49.99 and $64.99 for adults and $39.99 to $49.99 for children. Many consumers see Crocs as a novelty product and are unwilling to pay a price that high. The consumers that value Crocs have already made their purchases, and instances of repeat purchases are limited. We believe that the top end of the market has been skimmed, and additional sales may be achieved at lower sales price. The second issue that Crocs faces is knockoff brands. By pricing their products too high, Crocs has left an open market segment for its competition to fill with cheap knockoffs. Also, Crocs has been unsuccessful at protecting their designs through patents and has initiated multiple lawsuits, an extremely high cost for the company. The final issue is that the Crocs style is so unique that its popularity is very cyclical and unappealing to many consumers. By targeting a specific market segment, particularly one that is constantly evolving, it will help to increase Crocs sales and staying power. We will now discuss some of the recommendations that we've formulated to address the key problem facing the company. The first strategy is to invest in an internal research and development department. The goal of this would be to formulate a cheaper version of the Croslite material, the primary material used to make Crocs. By doing this, Crocs can lower their prices without sacrificing their profit margins. The second recommendation would be to simply lower the price to stimulate additional sales. This not only addresses the problem of pricing too high, but also erodes the ability of competitors to capture a portion of the market with knockoffs. The final recommendation is to expand the children's line. This product segment uses a variety of colors, styles, and personalization offerings that appeal to children, and as children's shoes are smaller, they require less material to produce. Also, this will stimulate repeat sales as children grow and need new pairs. We'll now discuss how Crocs can implement these strategies and address their key problem. To implement, Crocs should emphasize research and development inside manufacturing factories to share knowledge and ideas, which may help expedite the invention of a cheaper method to manufacture the Croslite material. Success can be measured by quality improvement and the time before a new method is developed. Second, we address Crocs' pricing situation. Given that the shoe is a one-time purchase and Jibbitz sell at a high volume, our pricing strategy is to increase the price of Jibbitz and decrease the base price of the clog shoe. By doing so, we believe that the company will stimulate more sales with the reduced retail price of the shoe. This plan can be measured by a significant increase in the sales of Jibbitz. Our last implementation, we recommend that Crocs expand their children's line. The company should advertise and collaborate with popular companies such as Disney for exclusive new designs and styles. To market to its target segment, Crocs should create child-centered ads. The key success factors for this plan includes increased customer reach through social media and advertising, evaluating social media metrics, and maintaining profit margins at the lower price of children's shoes. Expanding research and development could lead to trade secrets and intellectual property rights being exposed. To counter this, Crocs should also expand their legal department to ensure third-party manufacturers and suppliers are adhering to legal agreements. The risk of decreasing price is overestimation of elasticity of demand after that decrease. To counter, Crocs should closely monitor consumer behavior and quickly be able to adjust and make changes should they arise. Children's footwear could fail to meet the pace of expansion, resulting in a decrease in sales and to create more opportunities for knockoffs. To counter, Crocs should expand and create an exclusive brand partnership with a major company or celebrity to assist in the promotion of products, increase brand awareness, and boost financials.